you. We're talking here about a topic I know that you know a lot about and care a lot about, which is younger fans. And to start, I'm really curious how, everyone talks about Gen Z, younger than 25 or so, this really elusive group of consumers and fans. I'm curious how you source information. How do you learn about the way that young kids are consuming sports, the way they're watching, the way they're talking about them, so that you can do the appropriate changes, for all the Monumental properties?
Well, it's a little bit of a depressing experience for me sometimes, because I always thought I'd be the young buck forever, but now I'm becoming the elder statesman in some of the communities of interest that I've been spending some time in, whether it be the world of streaming or esports or even the gamified space. I think we're really finding that audiences are very different from what we're used to in the traditional sports world. Obviously, we're a larger sports entertainment company with multiple team brands in the NHL, the NBA, the WNBA, the G League. And we're very fortunate. I think one of our competitive advantages in Washington, D.C. is that we're one of the youngest communities in the entire country. Nielsen ranks Washington, D.C. as the #1 market for cord cutting and cord shaving, and #1 market for SVOD penetration. And so we have to be cognizant and thoughtful about not just what our team brands will look like in the next couple of years or post-pandemic, but what are they going to look like 10 years from now? And are they going to be increasingly relevant to millennials and Gen Z fans? And we know that Gen Z fans are watching video in a totally different way. They would never consider signing up for cable, and they'd much prefer having an interactive conversation on Twitch or YouTube, or following their favorite influencer, or people like Dr. Disrespect on Twitch. There's a different tone and tenor to the conversation. And so we've invested in this space through endemic organizations like Team Liquid. We've invested in publishers like Epic Games, which publishes Fortnite, of course. We've been a leader in the NBA and the NHL. We launched a sub-brand called Caps Gaming, and we won the 2020 NBA 2K League Championship with our team Wizard District Gaming. It was one of the lone bright spots in 2020 for us. But so we certainly learned a lot. I think it translates primarily on the media side, but it does also translate to the in-arena experience, which we will inevitably get back to, and how we present our game to families and to new fans alike.
It's funny you mentioned esports. When I first started reporting about esports, 4 or 5 years ago, I was shocked at how many people I was talking to who were, media executives, team presidents, team owners, who were interested in esports primarily because they had a son or daughter, who loved gaming, loved chatting with their friends on Twitch, et cetera. And some of these people cut huge checks just on the rationale that they couldn't get little Timmy down for dinner because he wanted to play more Call of Duty. And it makes me think, and Rachel, I think we can hear you now, so I want to hear your thoughts on this too. I had a great idea. I think you guys should have a CYO, a Chief Youth Officer. It should be like a 15-year-old kid, a high schooler, who is able to give you guys advice on, hey, this is how me and my friends are talking about sports. This is the gaming we're doing. This is the gambling that we're doing. Kind of all of those things rolled into one.
Well, Eben, the good news is my 10-year-old twins have anointed themselves as the DRL junior ambassador. So
smart.
They have a lot to help Zach out with the NBA as well. So no doubt we can enlist them over there.
So Rachel Jacobson, president of the Drone Racing League, welcome to the panel. Good to have you. Sorry for the little tech hiccup there. One of the things Zach just mentioned, gamification, sports betting, obviously a big part of the way I think a lot of people think about outreach for certainly their younger subset of fans. And some breaking news from you guys. You just, congratulations, negotiated one of the biggest deals that DRL has had since you took over, 5-year deal with Genius Sports. Walk us through, in your mindset, as you think about, sports gambling and this deal specifically, for your younger fans, how you think about the way that they're interacting with DRL and how partnerships can help you kind of bolster that.
Yeah, so great way to kick off a Wednesday to be with you all today, and really a landmark partnership for us when you look at how quickly everyone has adopted gambling since 2018. And, having been at the NBA for 21 years and really was there when Adam was at the forefront of pushing this agenda forward, I saw firsthand, why would you not want to have skin in the game? It's not just fun to be part of things as a fan, but also there's, another aspect of sports that should be legalized. So having seen that kind of from a courtside view from my time there, and literally from when I started in mid-April, it was that our sport is really tailor-made for betting. Like, it's quick, it's fast. There's a number of things in our races that you can bet on, everything from winners to crashes. And we just felt like with all the pivots this year, it was a good opportunity to really double down our efforts. And as everyone knows who's in the gaming space, there's a number of things that have to work in your favor. And the first was really this milestone announcement today of partnering with not just a world-class data and integrity partner, but at their heart, similar to ours, they're a technology company. So Genius Sports, with that announcement this morning, we're accelerating into the authorization of states with our friends there, and then operators ultimately who will take the feed and the bets.
Zach, you guys, Monumental was way ahead of a lot of people in this world in terms of getting gambling deals done. You have one of the first, maybe even the first, official sports book within the arena in DC. I'm curious what you've learned, in your first couple of years of partnering and working on the sports gambling side, what you've learned about the way that helps you touch base with your fans that maybe surprised you or wasn't exactly what you expected.
I think Rachel set the table very well there in talking about why the league started to realize they really should embrace it. There actually wasn't a lot of upside from keeping this market illegal, right? Who are we really protecting when we make it a black market that's going to exist no matter what? We're protecting organized crime or the like. All these things should be regulated and taxed. Particularly nowadays, states have budgets that need to be fed. And sports betting can be a great opportunity for that. Since we did our deal with William Hill, I think we've been blown away by the response in the Mid-Atlantic. Right now, Capital One Arena is essentially the only brick and mortar location where you can place a physical sports bet. And we've had lines out the door for what really has been a soft launch of the sportsbook experience. Because we haven't been hosting live events, we were able to convert the box office within our F Street lobby into sportsbook windows. And we were caught by surprise by the demand, so much so that we had to change the schedule in terms of security. We had to get a few more Brinks trucks coming in to process the money and whatnot. I think William Hill is a very happy customer. They've been working feverishly to continue the renovation plans for the 25,000 plus square foot space where the Green Turtle restaurant location used to be on the corner of 6th and F. There'll be a multi-floor experience that opens in just the next few months. And, it makes us feel very promising that post-pandemic and when we're able to host events again, it's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be a really, really high energy experience, not just around Capitals and Wizards games, but around all sporting events across all major 4 leagues. We've always talked about, it's such a shame that our building, while it's so busy, we have 220 events on average per year. It really sits empty and dark for most of the day outside of our offices. So to bring new life into our building during the day, I think is really, really valuable. And then the other thing that I think we've observed is that the US market, the Mid-Atlantic market, obviously because it's the first time this has been legal, sports betting is still in the education process with consumers. And so we have a responsibility in terms of a team that's partnering with a sports book, and William Hill has a responsibility to educate bettors on different opportunities and educate them on the risks too. It's part of the reason why we've continued to also do work with NBC Sports Washington locally and roll out those alternate predict the game feeds, because we want to demonstrate that, hey, there's some really cool in-play products that you're probably never heard of. You're used to playing daily fantasy or season-long fantasy. Hey, there's not just money line opportunities. There's also a whole world of in-play opportunities. And that's far more similar to what we see in the European markets, which are obviously far more mature than our own. So I think it's a process. It's a long-term one. It won't be perfect. We will make some mistakes and stumble along the way, but we will learn quickly and get it right in the long run. And I think we've done pretty well so far. We're very, very happy.
Rachel, you guys are kind of obviously in a different boat. You don't have a home arena. Drone racing events happen kind of all over the country. How do you think about, live events and what they look like vis-a-vis kind of younger fans and the things that they are looking for that maybe, older sports fans aren't necessarily requiring at their own live events?
Who doesn't want a firsthand view of a live sport? It was, being there and seeing drones fly around. I mean, as Zach and I know, he was one of the first calls I got, probably a week or two on the job, looking to offer up, an opportunity to come to their building, because you're always looking to bring in that next generation of fans. And that's how we think about it. But, clearly in a COVID world right now, you've had to reset playbooks of what those events look like. And I don't want to lose any momentum with bringing people into our sport. So while it's an unbelievable opportunity to have people in sold out buildings, if I could even see that visual, right now, we want to get back there, but we're going to bring people closer than they've ever been to the sport with how we've really brought esports, prime time with our partners at NBC. So, we're looking to engage our pilots in new and unique ways, because those are our athletes. And these are unbelievable personalities that we need to use leadership on the content side and put that across social and digital, and take a few pages out of my old playbook of partnerships at the NBA, where you have incredible marketers, and it's not about just the revenue that they bring to your sport to help you scale and accelerate. It's already the marketing channels that they have, thousands of stores, commercials during the Super Bowl. And I want nothing more than to expose our fleet of drones, as well as our pilots and all of the unique aspects of our sport, to this next generation, which suits so perfectly when you look at what are these demographics that marketers are really, focused on when we think about having aged out. When you look at some of the other stick and ball sports, you're going to get to, a range where you have to then, circle back around at that cradle to grave marketing and make sure that you're lifting up, this next set of fans that's going to tune into your sport.
I'm curious, actually, what is the demographic of the Drone Racing League from an age standpoint of your fans?
So we are young, as you could imagine.
I'd imagine, yeah.
Mostly male, but I am changing that every day. We're also going to find the first female drone pilot who can sit in our cockpit and compete against the boys. So that is out there as well. But, as you can imagine, with our sport being at the foundation of technology, they're tech driven, they're innovative, adventure seeking, young, and as I said, mostly male right now. And on the gaming side, just to, couple that with the demos, is they're 4 times more passionate about gaming than traditional fans. And really, there's only a 30% overlap. When Zach looks at his NHL and NBA fans, I only have a 30% overlap from the big 5 stick and ball. So 70% of our audience actually don't follow those other sports. So it is a very unique, again, subset of a fan base that marketers are looking to tap into, knowing that I may already have a partnership with any of those big 5. Doing a partnership then with the Drone Racing League is, again, just bringing you into different audiences and you don't have the duplication that no one wants to overpay for.
Zach, given kind of exactly what Rachel just said, that oftentimes there's not a huge overlap. You guys obviously own NHL and or NHL, NBA teams, and also a lot in the esports world. Are you learning things from kind of what the esports side does that you think, you know what, the Wizards, the Capitals, we should be doing that. That's a smart way to reach, you know, this kind of more gaming centric fan that maybe isn't yet, you know, watching NHL or NBA games?
Definitely. I've always said that I think esports can learn a lot from traditional sports, and traditional sports can learn a lot from esports too. They should treat each other with the same respect that they would for each other, frankly. You know, what Rachel was saying really, I think, rings true with what I've seen too. The engagement levels for this younger audience are through the roof. When they find something that they love, they're willing to spend 4 to 8 hours a day either consuming that content or playing with the content itself. And it's a really attractive audience because it's highly educated. I think there's a huge preference for STEM education. They're engineering savvy, if you will. If you talk to esports enthusiasts, these are the kinds of fans and players who are building their own computers and not just deciding which keyboards and monitors they want to have, but choosing, you know, their motherboard and literally building computers from scratch. It's the same way I'm sure Rachel has seen people wanting to build their own drones. I have a DJI that I fly around. I need to try your esport game though, Rachel. I probably wouldn't fare very well. I need a DRL branded drone sometime soon. But very, very different, obviously. And again, we see the changes on the media side primarily. We need to constantly think about reframing our big league clubs in ways that appeal to younger generations. And I think that, you know, what the NBA has done, frankly, with the 2K League is to jump both feet first. Let's use it as an onboarding opportunity. And frankly, let's reach that generation of fan who we would just never reach otherwise. Trust me, I think there's still a huge market for a growing market for the NBA and the NHL, particularly internationally too. But this growing audience, this segment, we simply can't ignore anymore.
Guys, unfortunately we're running out of time. But real quick, to end, I want to hear from both of you. I'm curious what you, outside of your own organizations, who you look at and say, wow, they're doing really smart thing. Kind of where else outside of drone racing, outside of Monumental, that you look for inspiration when it comes to, you know, outreach younger fans?
I'll start. I mean, I think Brendan Donahue has done a great job with the NBA 2K League, and very timely. I'll give a shout out to the Dodgers and their Accelerator Fund, Tucker Kane, and Peter Guber, who is one of our co-investors into Team Liquid, now World Series champs. So congrats to them.
Yeah, I mean, we look at everything as you know, Zach and everybody else, but you know, particularly in the esports side, you know, they got on COVID pretty quickly. I mean, that's the heart and soul of what they do. People are at home anyway, but the Travis Scott Fortnite collaboration, I thought it's like you have artists around the world that are not playing, you know, at concerts, and they want to be out cutting, you know, songs that they would have been breaking. And this was just, you know, again, a non-traditional outlet. When we launched, and Zach, I promise we will get you flying on our DRL sim. When we launched our Xbox game a month ago, you know, we're already thinking about that. 1 million drones flying. Who doesn't want to be part of that? Pick a day and you feel that connectivity for people all around the world. So, you know, shout out to our friends that did the Fortnite Travis Scott, because we took some good learnings from that.
I can't wait until we're watching Capitals games or drone races in Fortnite with Marshmallow DJing on the side. Guys, thank you very much, Zach Leonsis, Rachel Jacobson. Appreciate you guys taking the time. Going to kick it over right now to Jacob Feldman, my colleague, who will be speaking with Steve Mayer, NHL media executive. Thanks, guys.